Okay, so the warm-up, if you were here last week, same as what we did. God, it's filthy. Same as what we did last week. So you can do 10 dead bugs. I'll go through those. The bird dogs, the hip openers, and plank shoulder taps. So for the dead bugs, you're going to be flat on your backs, legs at 90 degrees, arms straight up in the air. It's opposite arm, opposite leg. So you want to, got no room here to do this morning. So you want to extend your left leg and extend your right arm. Just make sure you're pushing your lower back down to the floor, and then bring them back to the start position. And then again, just stretch your right leg out and left arm out. So you do 10 of these in total, and then your bird dogs. You're going to come onto all fours. Just make sure you got your knees right underneath your hips, hand right underneath your shoulders. You want to stretch out your left arm and leg. Just try and keep your arm and leg straight. As you're tucking in, try and bring your elbow into your knee. So for the bird dogs, try and stay nice and stable. You do 5 on one side, and then just switch over to the other side, and then do 5 on the opposite side. And then your hip openers is your press up position. Try and get your right foot next to your right hand, lift the right arm up, and then just follow where your hand's going with your head. And then switch your legs over, and then left arm up. So again, on the hip openers, it's going to be 10 in total. And then on the plank shoulder taps, you're going to come into your press up position, and then just tap each shoulder for 10. For 20 in total, 10 on each side. So you're going to do 10 of the dead bugs, 5 of the bird dogs, 10 of the hip openers, 20 of the plank shoulder taps, so 20 in total. We'll go through that twice, and then I'll explain what the workout is, which could be short, it could be long. We'll see how quickly we get through it. So if you pop yourselves on your backs, so just make sure you've got enough space. So legs are up at 90 degrees, arms straight up in the air. Whichever side you want to start with. So if you extend your left leg and your right arm, just try and push your lower backs down. Come back up to the start position. So you can do 10 in total for the dead bugs. If you just focus on pushing your belly button through your back, so you should feel it on your abs a little bit. And then once you've done your 10, you want to roll over onto your front. So onto all fours, and then it's 5 on each side for your bird dogs. And then the bird dogs, just try and stay as stable as you can. So make sure you got your knee right underneath your hip, and then your wrist right underneath your shoulder. And then once you've done your 5, you want to come up into your press up position, into your 10 hip openers. So right foot next to your right hand, lift that right arm up. Left foot next to the left hand, lift the left arm up. So it's 10 of your hip openers. And then once you've done your 10 hip openers, quite tough on your shoulders this morning. Into your press up position, again, just make sure you got your hands right underneath your shoulders. And then 20 in total for your shoulder taps. So again, if you just try and keep your hips nice and steady. Whew. Oh, shoulders are feeling this. And then once you've done your 20 shoulder taps, you're just going to go back into the dead bugs again. So we've got one more round through. So 10 dead bugs, 5 bird dogs, 10 hip openers, and 20 of those shoulder taps. So once you've done those dead bugs, then just pop yourself onto all fours. Knees underneath your hips, hands right underneath your shoulders. Big stretch out. Left leg, right arm. So 5 on each side for the bird dogs. Again, once you've done the bird dogs, you're going back into the hip openers. So again, be right foot next to the right hand, lift the right arm up. Left foot next to the left hand, lift the left arm up. And if you just follow where your hand's going with your eyes, so you want to look up at your hand. And then just keep that back leg nice and straight. And then once you've done your 10, back into your last one, your 20 shoulder taps. If you want to make it a little bit easier, just go a little bit wider with your feet. I really want to open the window, but I think the wind's going to blow it wide open. Okay. So your workout today, you've got 5 exercises. You're kind of going to do it like a pyramid. So first exercise is going to start relatively low in reps. Second exercise, the reps are going to increase. Third exercise is going to be the highest amount of reps. Then it's going to drop back down again. So your 5 exercises, I'll just quickly go through these. Your first one, so if you want to practice, you can do. You're going to do 10 goblet squats to start with. Now, don't mind how you hold the kettlebell. If you want to hold it by the handle or weight, whatever you're using, just keep the ball up at your chest. If you want to hold it by the ball, if you want to hold it that way around, just pick a way which is comfortable for you. But for the squats, make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. Keep your elbows tucked in. You want to squat nice and low, so if you can get all the way down to the bottom, just make sure you got your elbows on the inside of your knees. Try not to come up onto your toes. If you find yourself coming up onto your toes, just go a fraction wider with your feet, or turn your feet out a little bit. You should find it a little bit easier. God, I'm so out of breath. You're going to do 10 goblet squats. After the goblet squats, you're then going to do 20 two-handed swings. So knees stay still, hinge at the hips. Grab the kettlebell with 2 hands, put it back between your legs, and then nice and quick, driving your hips forward. And don't worry too much about your breathing. You'll tend to sink your breathing in with the movement anyway. So you've got 10 squats, 20 swings. You're then going to do 40 mountain climbers. But on the mountain climbers, you want to count your reps on one side, or count to 80, whichever's easiest. So for your mountain climbers, you press up position, 1 rep, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you just kind of double count on your mountain climbers. After you've done 40 of those, which is probably going to be a little bit horrible, you're going to do 20 Russian twists with your weight. So whether you're using a kettlebell, dumbbell, whatever you're using. Try and hold the kettlebell with the ball at the bottom. You want to lean back, twist over to one side, twist the other side. Just make sure you're not just moving your arms about. Try and rotate the whole of your upper body. If you want to tap the floor, you can do. As long as you've not got wooden floor, don't damage your floors. You're going to do 20. So for 1 rep, it's just 20 in total. So that'd be 1, that'd be 2, that'd be 3. Okay? So far you've got 10 goblet squats, 20 swings, 40 mountain climbers. Again, just remember to double count on the mountain climbers. 20 of the Russian twists. You're then going to do 10 to finish off a round, 10 overhead presses. So for the overhead presses, hold onto the ball and then lock your thumb and finger around the handle. You can do it stood up, you don't need to do it lying, kneeling down. Make sure you lock the arms overhead. So try, if you find yourself kind of leaning back, just pop one foot, if I stand up and do it, just pop one foot behind the other, and then just try and straighten up your torso. Just make sure you lock the arms up overhead, and think about just bringing your ears level with your biceps as you drive the kettlebell up. That's your round. Okay, so you got 10 squats, 20 swings, 40 mountain climbers, double count the mountain climbers, 20 Russian twists, and then 10 overhead presses. Okay, once you've done the overhead presses, just go straight back into the goblet squats. Okay, now we're going to try and get through. I'll keep an eye on the time. We're going to try and do 6 rounds of this. Like I said, I've got no idea how long this is going to take. It might take ages, in which case we'll lower the, I'll keep an eye on the time, we'll just lower the rounds down. But just get through it as fast as you can. Obviously go at your own pace, but 10 squats, 20 swings, 40 mountain climbers, 20 Russian twists, 10 overhead presses. When you're ready, just go straight back into the squats again. Okay, I'm going to risk opening the window and hope that the wind. You see me suddenly rush off, it's to try and shut the window. Okay, ready? So 10 squats straight into your 20 swings. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So just make sure you keep the feet flat, elbows on the inside of your knees. And then once you've done your 10 squats, 20 of your 2-handed swings. Again, just try and keep the knees still. And then just drive the hips forward as fast as you can. Nice straight legs at the top. And then once you've done your 20, you've got 40 mountain climbers. Just remember, count your reps on one side. Nice and fast with your feet. And then once you've done your 40 mountain climbers, you've got your 20 Russian twists. So when you get to these, just make sure you're leaning back. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can lift your feet off the floor. I won't be doing that, but feel free. So it's 20 twists. And then once you've done your twists, you've got 10 overhead presses to finish the round off. So again, I'll do this kneeling so you can see what I'm doing, but feel free to stand up. But if you want to make it a little bit harder, you can kneel down. And once you've done your 10, that's one round down. So when you're ready, just go back into your squats. So again, it'd be 10 squats, 20 swings. So once you've done those squats, Again, when you get to the swings, just make sure you push those hips back, drive them through nice and quick. Whew. And then 40 mountain climbers after the 20 swings. And then after those 40 mountain climbers, back onto the Russian twists. I think the mountain climbers are going to be the worst thing out of all of this. So again, just make sure you're leaning back on the twists. And then just twist around that whole upper body. So try not to just move your arms. And then once you've done your twists, back into the overhead presses. So again, the presses, just make sure you let the arms up. Bring your head right through your arms. So think your ears next to your biceps. So again, if you've got some water, just keep on top of your water intake. So 2 rounds down, or I've done 2, you lot might be flying through this. So again, when you're ready, just back into your 10 squats. Then once you've done those squats, back into the swings. Again, 20 swings. And then once you're done the 20 swings, you're back into, back into these horrible mountain climbers. So again, just count your reps on one side, so it's a double count. But 40 mountain climbers. And just try and keep your hips nice and low. So again, once you've done those 40 mountain climbers, 20 of the twists. So again, 20 twists. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can lift your feet up. Again, just make sure you're leaning back. And then to finish the round again, 10 presses. Okay, if you find yourself leaning back, just put one foot behind the other. Yeah, just make sure you lock those arms up. Oh. 3 down. So again, just keep going at your own pace. When you're ready, you're back into the 10 squats. And after those squats, back onto the 20 swings. So again, nice and relaxed with your upper body, nice and fast. Driving those hips through, nice straight legs at the top. And once you've done those swings, back into these utterly exhausting mountain climbers. So again, when you get the mountain climbers, just make sure you got your shoulders right over the top of your wrists. And then just keep the hips nice and low. Yeah, once you've done those mountain climbers, back onto the 20 of the twist. Again, just make sure you lean back. Oh, back just cracked. And again. That's how it's a good thing when your back cracks when you're doing abs. I'm sure there's something wrong there. So after you've done those 20 Russian twists, again, finish that round with 10 overhead presses. Okay, if you find yourself leaning back, just put one foot behind the other. If you find your shoulders are giving up, use your legs, just have a little bounce in the legs. So that's 4 down. And then when you're ready, back into the squats. Again, after you've done those squats, 20 of the swings. Get nice and snappy, driving those hips forward. I think I'd actually rather do burpees than these mountain climbers. Oh. So again, once you've done those 20 swings, double count on the mountain climbers, 40 reps. So again, once you've done those mountain climbers, you might find your shoulders are going to be on fire. 20 of the twists. Again, when you get to the twists, make sure you lean back. Rotate the whole of the upper body, not just your arms. Again, once you've done your 20, 10 presses. Nearly carried on then. Too mad. So once you've done those 10 presses, that's 5 rounds down. And then when you're ready, we'll do one more. We might finish a couple of minutes early. So again, 10 squats, 20 swings, 40 of your mountain climbers, 20 twists, and then 10 overhead presses. So again, on these squats, just make sure you're keeping your feet flat on the floor. And then once you've done your 10, you're on to your 20 swings. So once you've done those 20 swings, back onto the mountain climbers. Last lot. So again, just trying to limit any rocking backwards and forwards with your shoulders. And once you've done those 40 mountain climbers, you're back onto those twists. Again, 20, make sure you lean back. Rotate the whole torso, so your whole upper body. once you've done your 20, last lot of overhead presses. So once you've done your 10, you're done. Time on 10 to, so we'll just have we'll finish a couple of minutes early. We'll just have a little stretch out. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, so if you just pop yourselves flat on your backs, on your butts. Then you want to pull your knees into your chest. So you want to get your thigh or your chest as close to your thighs as possible. And then gripping onto your heels, just start to walk your feet away. Or if you want to slide the floor, you can kind of slide your feet away. And just keep your chest down, just stretch your legs out as far as you can. Doesn't really matter if there's a slight bend, like I've got a slight bend in my legs. If you pull your toes back, don't grab them, but if you point your toes towards your head, you should still feel it up your calf and into your hamstrings. If you really struggle, if you've got a towel or a strap, like if you're really inflexible, you can't grab your feet, use a towel around your feet and just do the same thing. Keep your chest down. And you can kind of pull on the towel a little bit just to pull yourselves down. But yeah, if you just keep pointing your toes towards your head. And then if you leave your, let's go left leg. If you leave the left leg in front, if you've got any issues with your knees, just bring your foot on the inside, so the sole of your foot on the inside of your left thigh. If you can, bring your foot around the back. So you're not sitting on your foot, the foot's just next to your butt. But again, you want to bend the leg at the knee, try and shift your rib cage over your thigh, and then keep your chest down, and then just try and straighten that leg up. Again, if you're struggling and you can't really stretch out, you can use your towel again. You can kind of pull yourself down into it if you really need to. Again, just try and get that leg as straight as you can. Again, same as that first one. With your toes, just keep trying to point your toes towards your head. And if you slowly come out of that one, leave your left leg where it is. Bring your right leg out to the side. So if you go into your straddle, so basically legs as far apart as is comfortable, is the easiest way to put it. Clasp your hands together, start over one leg, and then just bounce yourself across the other leg. And then just keep going backwards and forwards. So you're going to feel it on the inside of your legs, on your adductors. Again, you'll still probably feel it on your hamstrings. And just try and reach a little bit further on each one. But you could, if you feel particularly tight in one area, you could just kind of chill out there for a bit. And then if you bring your feet back together, so we'll do the same thing on the right side. So you want to bring that left foot around the back, or if you've got any knee pain, bring it on the front, on the inside of your leg. And again, bend the leg at the knee, shift your rib cage over your thigh, and then just try and straighten that leg up as much as you can. Just keep the chest nice and low. So you don't want to be sat bolt upright trying to grab your toes. Guys are the worst for that. Horrendous flexibility, most blokes. And then if you just leave that right leg in front, just bring your knee back round, and then pop yourself out. Pop yourself into your lunge position. So if you start by creating a box, so with your calf and your thigh, you have a good box. Pick your left foot up. Again, if you can't grab your foot, you can use a towel or a strap again to grab it. Put your heel in. You should feel it stretching on your left quad. If you're not, As long as you keep a straight line from your knee up through your hips up to your shoulders, just let everything sink forward. So you're not leaning over that front leg. Try and stay set upright and just let your hips slowly drop forward, and you can let your right knee drift over your toes and you should get more of a stretch on the quad. And depends on how tight your quads are. And if you slowly come out of that, just switch your legs over. So you're kneeling on the right knee, left leg forward. Again, create that box, grab that foot, your right foot. Yeah, if you can feel it on your quad, stay where you are. If you can't, keep that right without falling over. Straight line from your knee through your hips up to your shoulders, and then just let everything sink forward. You're not just leaning forward at the waist. And if you slowly come out of that one, you just bring your knees right underneath your hips. You want to leave your bum stuck up in the air. And then just have a big stretch out with your arms. And then sink your chest and your chin down to the mat, or to your floor, whatever you're on. So you should feel it kind of right down the middle of your spine, down the sides of your back. And if you can slowly come out of that, just bring your hands back a little bit. And then let your hips drop down. So I call this a seal stretch, but I think it's what they call it in yoga, upward dog maybe. So just make sure you got your hands right underneath your shoulders. Keep your shoulders rolled back, look up at the ceiling. You should feel it stretching on your abs. If your back feels a little bit tight, have a little look over each shoulder. Oh, that goes back again. From there, if you leave your hands where they are, just lift your hips up, bring toes together, put knees out to the side, and then sit back onto your heels. You should have nice straight arms out in front. You should feel it loosening off your back a little bit, your lower backs. And then if you keep your arms, I can't talk today. If you keep your arms nice and straight, keep your hips still, and then just walk your hands over to one side. So if you walk them over to the right side, you should feel, if you keep your shoulders flat, you should feel a big stretch all the way down your left, kind of your left lat. So kind of from your armpit all the way down to your hips, if you, depending how far across you can get. Now if you walk your hands over to the side, and just try and keep your hips still, arms nice and straight, try and keep your shoulders flat. And then back into the middle. Then you can just relax your head down, relax your arms. So guys, all done. Oh, another one down. Oh.